Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jarek Brian Show, and I've got a very special guest today. We've got Big Nil on. Big Nil, how are you doing?
Excellent, Jarek. I really appreciate just being here with you today. I give you a lot of love on the ecosystem because you're doing a
Appreciate it.
lot for us, man. I think that the exposure that you're providing our community, just the content in general. I mean, you hear me harp on it a lot, and it's just one of those things where we're looking to diversify our platforms. And this is one of those things I've been following along. I'm a subscriber myself, so
Mhm.
always supporting the people out here building in different ways. So appreciate you having me on and excited for the conversation.
I'm excited that you're here, man. It's really great, and I'm really thankful that you came on and kind of like starting off with the audience. Kind of like who you are, right? And also too, like what kind of led you here to this point right now in your journey in Web3.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been involved as far as like an investor in crypto for like around like 3-4 years now. My origins kind of started, I would say like just from kind of researching more things. I've always been interested in tech, always been kind of on the inside as far as how that, how the space is moving forward here. Kind of like where things like really got started, where it like really started to hold me. And this is like a classic origin story for a lot of people is the AMC and GameStop era, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone was like, it was kind of like we were coming out of the pandemic and everything was kind of happening quickly, and there was a lot of different things happening. But I was watching a lot of streamers, right, working from home, looking at stream online, buying stocks and kind of giving into the investment field in that kind of direction. A lot of those streamers did stuff for crypto and in that direction. Not many did for things for NFTs, like not as deep as that, right? And so did some research on my end and just fell in love with how the tech was progressing, right? Different things like obviously Ethereum, like started diving into Ethereum really deep. Different kind of, ecosystem build outs like Chainlink. I fell in love with like what an Oracle system can essentially provide for, just how we can all connect in a better way in that direction. Different blockchains and how they all interact with each other. And my first exposure that I really started diving deep was the DraftKings marketplace. So the DraftKings marketplace opened up in 2021. So it was like the fall of 2021. It was just little digital trading cards, right? Wayne Gretzky, Tom Brady, like all these like significant sports stars. And it blew my mind, right? Like I could buy one of these things with a credit card first and foremost. My wife hated that. That was super dangerous. Uh, but I could buy it on a Monday for like $10, $20. And then on a Tuesday, flip it for like $200, $300. And it blew my mind a little bit, right? So I was looking into you flip the card over, it's got a bunch of information on it, and it said blockchain Polygon. And I was like, all right, let's see what this is all about. Didn't know much about the NFT scene, past that. And so this was in fall of 2021. It was like in September, October time. And so I just kind of hit like my 2 years as far as exposure into NFTs specifically. And I dove into Twitter, dove into Reddit, and started searching, right? Hashtag NFT. This is still in hashtags. We're like an actual thing on Twitter. It was hashtag NFT, hashtag Polygon NFT. And I really just like kind of got lucky. I stumbled into the right places. It was when Spaces had really just been launched on the platform too. So I fell into Spaces with people like My Creative Owls, who's a huge metaverse architect. And he's really big in the Polygon ecosystem still. People like Dave Swinbank and Beluga Bay, NFT Coin Laundry, a one-of-one artist that I'm really good friends with. My phone's glowing right now. He just texted me about something. But So it's, all these people that were out here teaching. And a lot of them were teaching in the marketing direction. And so I fell in love with the conversations, right? I sat in the listener section for a long time. 2 or 3 months, just absorbing the culture. I mean, everyone that does it comes into Spaces right now. It's like speaking a foreign language. It's totally different. You got to understand the vernacular. And so I started just diving into different projects, researching what they were all about. The one that is, still in my wallet today and still has staying power on Polygon is Crazy Bears NFT. So really adorable kind of bear art. They don't get the love they deserve, but the artist is actually located out of Japan. So his name's Tom. His screen name's Solfrid. He's a great artist. He draws like little adorable like kawaii bears, right? And so fell in love with them. They were being minted on OpenSea with like a storefront contract for like, I think it was $1. You know what I mean? And so they blew up really hard. We were flipping them like crazy. Was still holding on. I think I still have like 20 Crazy Bears in my wallet. And so back then, it was just kind of understanding like what the tech was about. Like, how do you actually interact? How do you build community? What is art all about? And I was kind of absorbing all that, right? And then luckily just kind of stumbled into the right group of people, started sharing things on Twitter, started opening up an NFT Twitter in January of 2022. And one of my good friends who's actually on the Daturians team, right? That's my main project is Daturians NFT. Her name is DC Darcel. She's this amazing human from Trinidad and Tobago. It's like an island nation. And she, quote tweeted this tweet and it said, "Whoa, like, look at this." And she tagged a bunch of our friends, like me being one of them. And it was a post from Daturians. And I was like, what's this all about? I have no idea. I was blown away by the art, never seen anything like it. This like plant, animal, alien kind of creature looking thing. And so I was very interested, jumped into the Discord. There was like 10 people in Discord, like 100 followers on Twitter, right? Super early on. And I started reaching out to the team. I was like, hey, like, what's going on here? Like, what are you all doing? Like, let me get a feel for this. It was still very early, obviously. And instantly I was like, so who's doing your marketing for you? You know what I mean? Because my exposure in the Web 2 sense, it's all on Web 2 marketing. So getting groups, essentially announcements out there, press releases, using marketing channels, analytical like databases and all those things. That's like what I did for my full-time job. Still do that, actually. But jumped in on a couple phone calls, and my project is, we can dive into it later, but it's, three best friends who are located in Lithuania. So it's, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio here. I'm a world away from them. I've never been to Lithuania in my entire life. But we jumped on a phone call and they just, kind of like just understood that I was like trying to get into this ecosystem. I told them straight up, I was like, I have no experience in this at all, right? No Web3 experience as far as marketing, but I have a lot of Web2 experience. Just give me a shot here. And essentially, I've taken it and run with it, and I can speak more on the specifics, but that's kind of where I got started.
Oh no, man, that's amazing, man. And you're having like a big stable, man. You're always on, spaces. I met you, and I was like, man, this guy's like, very nice. You were very like welcoming, and I love the fact that Daturians, like, exactly like these cute little alien things. Like, what exactly is the story with these guys or gals, or
or creatures, whatever they are,
gender neutral.
They're kind of like they do their own thing, right? So they're plants. Like, I guess they're asexual. I don't know, but more, like they don't really have a gender. But yeah, they breed, right? They just pollinate. Exactly. So what Daturians really are is like I said, my entire team is located out of Lithuania. And so Lithuanian culture is like very significant in like horticulture and foraging for mushrooms and like diving into nature with like head first. And so what I started, they kind of told me the story of in general. And they're a combination of like plants and tech, right? So the entire purpose of our project is to bring like plants onto the blockchain, right? We all talk about like these themes of like touching grass and like, but still, and still evolving in the tech direction. So the plants have aspects, like the creatures themselves, they have aspects of plants as well as technology involved with them. So there's different like wires hanging out of them. There's different electrical currents, different things like in that direction. And there's both fungi and flora, so plants as well as mushrooms, right? So there's different rarity ranks in that direction. But the big portion about it, right, we have really unique art. We have like, it's adorable, it's child friendly, it's very accessible for that kind of avenue. Majority of my collectors in my community, they're called the Flora fam, right? And their majority of them are like parents that have kids and like to expose their people to different art forms and that kind of deal. But the big portion about Daturians is that we're lore based, right? So like heavy metadata that tells details on factions and families and occupations and how the economy works and all those things that are involved there, which is really cool. And we actually like have all these stories originated from Lithuanian culture. So like this is bedtime stories and folklore and tall tales and all these things that my founders actually grew up being influenced by. It's a team of three on the back end. I'm on the forefront, obviously, being the speaker head for the project. But it's a married husband and wife, and they have two kids. They kind of do the family thing, and then their best friend from growing up through high school and in college. So he does all the dev work. It's Donatus, Lunaria, and Vitas. Like they are like three of my best friends now, all the way across the world. We've been like connecting for over 2 years at this point now, and they gave me a great opportunity, right? So. Like kind of the big deal with Daturians is like we like to involve our community on everything that we do. So as far as like decisions that we make, right, the logo that we currently have, that was voted on by our community members, all the airdrops and different things that we've given our community. I got some of our merch here, little
Oh
Daturian
yeah,
pins, yeah, that we've kind of rocked, and I
yeah,
just sent a
yeah.
bunch of more of those out to my community members. Um, but as well as like our full build out. So we launched when there wasn't really like a necessity for a roadmap. Like it was in 2021, right? So people were just like, "Oh, it's cool art.
Hmm.
Vibes are up. Let's just do it." So what we allowed our community to do is like, what's our full goal? Like, what do we want to actually give back to our community and give them experience? And we presented them a bunch of different options, right? We've mentioned trading card games, different PvP battle style stuff. And what they all actually voted on was an AI RPG universe. So what's going to happen is, your Daturian is going to be able to go on quests and adventures and different type of tasks around our planet, which is called 1270 Datura, which is actually like an asteroid up in space.
Oh wow.
It's a real asteroid.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to adventure around our planet and kind of have different engagements with different people. And it's going to control how, like with the AI portion of it, all your decisions will control how the universe kind of unfolds. So that's kind of our full build out is the game. And yeah, we got exciting things to come the next few weeks. And so we're kind of really excited to push. And Daturians has provided me a lot, right? It's provided me with an avenue for growth. I got really integrated into the ecosystem. I was able to host with big people like Skirpy and Bullish Trader and stay up late and just like learn the things that I do now, just from being ingrained in the ecosystem so much. At one point before like all the hype on Polygon came, we were one of like 5 or 6 PFP projects. And we've been kicked off of stages. We've been told to quit the project, migrated over somewhere else just because it wasn't as big, right? Everyone on ETH was like, dude, you have so much quality, just bring everything over here. And we just kind of stayed consistent, right? We stayed the course, found our avenue, and we're thanking ourselves now, right? Because there's a lot of hype that's going on, and we're really excited to ride the wave.
Yeah, no, and yeah, they're cute little things, and they're like, I can totally see this. Yeah, I came in here, I saw them, like, what are these things? And they're very cute little. I don't say aliens, right? But you're speaking of the experience,
They
right?
are. They're creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, creatures. You're speaking of the experience, right? And you're speaking of how everything was so welcoming here and everything like that. Can you kind of like speak on the Polygon experience that you've had so far?
Of course. Yeah, man. And again, this is all learned, right? Like this is an experience that I like inherited from the people that I kind of spoke on earlier. Dave Swinbank and Creative Owls and all those people that were involved with like the kind of speaking roles on spaces. I give love to a lot of people like High CC and all the people that were out there building in public, right, in their own way. Cynthia Steenkamp, like one-of-one artists or creators of their own kind, delivering different directions on marketing or building their own projects. They really set the blueprints for early people like me who jumped in, and they set a really good example. They were like, listen, there's a reason why Polygon is a little bit underexposed, right? It doesn't have the dollars and cents like the Ethereum ecosystem has. The whole portion of this is that it's a cheaper network, so you can try your builds as you're kind of crafting them, right? And because of that, we all just embraced each other. We supported each other very organically. We stayed consistent. We all kind of bought into each other's projects and made sure that we did things the right way. And that's just kind of set the standard, right? That's perpetuated into everything that I do, making sure that, again, I've had a lot of success in this space. I've taken on a job in Web3. I've done a lot of great things for the ecosystem. I put myself out there all the time for what Polygon does, because Polygon's done a lot for me, right? Like it's given me an avenue for growth, and I'm just proud of where we've come and what we've done. But the main thing for me is no matter how much success I've had, no matter what I kind of do in my journey out here, I want everybody around me to have an opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about me. It's never been about me. If it was just about me, I wouldn't be here anymore. That's not how Web3 is supposed to work. Web3 works the right way because of the way that Vitalik talks about it, right? Like, Vitalik talks about the tech. It talks about opening up doors, talks about breaking down barriers, and really just making sure that we do things differently out here. And that's like the Web3 ideals for me, and that's what Polygon can provide. It's open source. It's making sure that we all build together and that we all grow for the right reasons. So really, that's like my main focus, is to make sure that as I have more success, that others also have success with me. And that's kind of why that's the main reason why I do things the way I do.
Yeah, and it's been welcoming for me. I tell you that. It's like it was very, Like when I came here, I almost didn't seem kind of real in a sense that people were letting me like speak on spaces, right? They're like very very nice in the Discord, from like the Brozos all the way down to the Rec Dogs, and I was just kind of like, man, this doesn't seem kind of real in a sense of like people actually let me come on stage and speak and actually like weren't mean about it and just like, oh, okay, get out of here. So it was very it was very welcoming, and I love the fact that like you're here, you're championing the whole ecosystem and everything like that. And can you kind of like explain your kind of role, kind of what kind of led you into your role with Magic Eden, what exactly it is you do there?
Yeah, man. So, kind of how everything progressed. Last year near, I'd say Christmas, right? The Utes made the announcement that they were bumping over, and it brought like a ton of attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was like, what the heck are they doing? They're going over to they're declass, like they're like reclassing to the D League. It was kind of funny, but it was absolutely hilarious in my opinion. I was like, we've been here. Look at all that Polygon's accomplished. Like, you don't want to be a part of like the biggest Web2 blockchain ever that has all these partnerships. Like, that makes too much sense for me. So when they came over, I essentially just looked around and I was like, hey, like somebody needs to represent like the OGs, right? A few of us took up the reins for sure. People like Metaverse Johnny, man, Johnny's like obviously one of the people that's been out here just as long, if not longer than I have. The people that I've listed already, obviously Creative Owls and Dave, like we've all kind of understood that we've been here for a while. And so we started taking up like the roles of like those key opinion leaders, right? Making sure that like people understood that there's a certain way that you should be building on Polygon versus other blockchains. And that's why it feels so friendly, because those roles were like set up very early on to ensure that we had success. And so I just stayed consistent, focus on my build, focus on my project. Took a little bit of a back seat. I'm not gonna, I'll be honest with it, because there was so much hype going on. It was like a lot of noise at the same time. And so right around the summer came, my project wrapped up. We minted out. We took care of business on that front. We kept building and having great relationships, and I really started putting like really concerted effort into my own personal brand. And I'll be honest, like I kind of lost myself with being Daturians. Like people on spaces, like it wasn't Nil, I was Daturians. Like, oh, Daturians is back, like that, right? Like I became my project, which I love, right? Like my project has done so much for myself. Like again, like it's painted on my heart. Like truly, it's I'll get a tattoo of it eventually, right?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah.
But like I'll get the Polygon logo and Daturians. But but what it came down to is like I just saw a need, right? Like I knew I'd been hosting for a while. I'd been like on the ecosystem for forever. And people were just asking questions like, specifically like the Utes have left us or not yet. They're leaving us. Like, that's all good.
Yes, they are.
I mean, Frank started this fire, but we're keeping it burning, as I always say. But one of the things that I did take to heart that he said, he was on a certain space and he was like, Polygon needs their leap. Like Polygon needs their like NFT god. Polygon needs somebody to speak on behalf of Polygon that isn't working directly for Polygon. And I said, and I looked to my left, looked to my right. I was like, it's me. Like, I'm supposed to be that guy. Like, I'm supposed to go to ecosystems. I'm supposed to onboard people. I'm supposed to make them feel comfortable here and make sure that they know the why. And I've always kind of had that role in life, right? Like, I've always been captain of every, I'm a college lacrosse guy. I was captain on my lacrosse team as a goalie. In my fraternity, I was fraternity president. Like, I've always been in a leadership role. And as far as like speaking goes, it's like one of my favorite things to do. Obviously, I can go on and on. But I looked at the role and I said, you know what, like let me just lead this bad boy. So I held a bunch of different spaces, like state of the Polygon NFTs, like what is Polygon, like all these like introductory spaces where people can get onboarded really effectively. Let's talk Polygon, like that kind of deal. Cool. But the moral story is I took a lot of that front on my end, made sure I dove deep into it. And then eventually, I was, this is a big year for me. Like 2023 is massive. I'm having my first kid in about 35 days. So like, that's
then
right
I tried to buy.
That's right around the corner. Right. And so I kind of decided like, it's time for me to take a leap. It's time for me to kind of jump into this full go where there's not going to be many opportunities for me to do it. And so I started reaching out to people that I trusted. Started reaching out to Johnny and the Magic Eden team, had a bunch of good conversations. And I said like, hey, like I need this to work like soon, right? Like I put some urgency behind it and I was like, hey, I've never taken $1 from this ecosystem. Every single thing that Daturians has like paid me as like a founder, it's all been right back into the investment of different projects. It's held in Matic, in a ledger. Like it's all like it's ecosystem money, and I have never fiated any of that, right? Never used on ramp in my life. And I realized like all my ROI, right? It needs to eventually come back to something that makes sense
Yeah.
from that monetary perspective. But also, it was like, how can I empower creators to do the same thing that I've done, right? Like to have a lot of wins over time, to support different people. And that's why the Magic Eden move made so much sense for me,
Hmm.
right? Kept talking to Johnny. He talked to his people, our entire team, and essentially was like, hey, like, Big Nil has the stuff that I have, right? He's an OG out here. He's been building the right way. He can provide resources for other people as well. And that's kind of where I led about today. I've been on Magic Eden for, oh man, it's almost 3 months at this point now. It
Yeah.
feels like 2 weeks, honestly. It's going by like a
Hmm.
flash. But it's been some of the most rewarding work I've ever done. Like just being able to empower different people, make sure they get support. People like Base Buddha from the Banshees, people like Cal from TSAS, like we just had that mint out and that explosion happened yesterday. EJ, the rival,
Hmm.
and Space Skellies, Rival Bears, and Max, like those are people that I get to work with on a day-to-day basis, and they're so freaking passionate. You know what I mean? Like they dump their heart and their souls into what they create. I just get to have like that honor of working and empowering them even more, making sure they get the marketing avenues they need, making sure that we can support them in a lot of different ways, right? Consult them in how they're building, and it's a really, like I said, it's an honor to be able to be a part of so many creations out here in Web3 because we do things so differently, and so it's been a great experience. My my in-laws came in the other weekend for my baby shower, right? So we had a big, like not a traditional baby shower, we had like a backyard barbecue. We are hanging out, doing my thing, and my mother-in-law was just like, Max, like you're usually pretty happy, but you look so happy right now. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, it's because I get to wake up and do things I love every day, right? Like I get to be with people that I care about. I get to actually fall in love with my job. It's made everything different for me, like literally everything. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. We can dive more into that stuff, but I want to kind of let you have an opportunity too.
No, no, no. That's great, and I love the fact that that you made kind of like a dream become reality, right? And it kind of like more on that kind of like subject, right? So you see right now, right? Like especially like this is even a kind of a question even for me, right? Too as well. You're kind of answering that kind of question for me and anybody out there that's kind of wondering, hey, they're passionate about Web3, right? And right now, this is a fairly kind of like new kind of space. No one really knows exactly like what exactly is needed. Do you need to go to school for this? Do you need to go to school for that? I've heard people not go to school. I've heard people do this, do that. Whatever the case may be, it's just like it's very new, and it's just kind of what would kind of be the advice you'd give somebody that's trying to get into Web3 as as a profession? Like, what advice would you give them that's kind of trying to navigate these waters?
Yeah, man, of course. I think it's the best part about Web3 is like there's a niche for everybody, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? Like for the technical savvy, there's development work and there's front end UI UX and there's design work that you can get like really into the specifics of and make sure things like turn out very well from that experience perspective. You can look at it from the gaming direction. You can look at it from the different websites and how decentralized apps work and all those things, all the way to smart contracts and what those can be built out like. So from the technical perspective, it's boundless, right? It's that new level of coding that really builds like a personal connection with what you're actually doing. For a lot of people, for artists, right? It's empowering because it's giving them a new avenue to create, to build community around, to really just put their passion into something that they really want to bring to life. And then essentially, right, like in the perfect world, they make revenue off of it for their entire lives, right? Like royalties is something that I'm like a big proponent of, especially at Magic Eden. Like we are like for the creators, for the culture, right? That's like what we always have spoken on. And so we're always going to uphold that as one of our forefronts because we believe that empowering creators is going to make this ecosystem go further, right? Like imagine if you had a creation and then like, you were told, oh yeah, like, just like song royalties, you're going to get XYZ and then it was taken away from you. Like
Yeah.
it's just not, it doesn't seem fair, right? The whole purpose of Web3 is that we can share in this and we can actually create stability for people who didn't have it before. That's the purpose of Web3. So like for creators, right, you get to hold this whole new area of creation and then live in this digital renaissance that you could build experiences behind your art. And then for people like us, right, the people that like to speak, the people that like to build content, the people that like to like support other people in the marketing direction, or like we're doing here today, having a conversation. It's building relationships, right? The best part about Web3 to me, like the best part for sure, is that we all start at like the second level of where friendships typically start. Like nowadays, right? You it's hard to make new friends, like transparently, right? Especially when you get older. Like I'm hitting 30 this year. As I get older, I'm sure it'll get even harder. Not many times you're just gonna walk into a bar or like walk into a library and be like, "Oh man, hey, what are you into?" You know what I mean? Like it's just not, it's 100%. Not natural. But in Web3, we all know that we believe in one similar thing. Like we all believe in this technology. We all believe in what decentralization means. We all believe that the world is working in one way and it could work a lot better if it maybe integrated some of this blockchain stuff, right? And so you start at that second level of friendship, in my opinion, and then it makes everything that much easier. Now, granted, it makes us a little vulnerable too, right? Like people get taken advantage of. There's negative things that happen. Again, that's maybe 1% of how our space operates. That's unfortunate. But for the majority of things, right, like the people I've referenced, like Coin Laundry, Hi CC, Cynthia, Sir Goat, like these are people that I've been friends with for over 2 years. We've gone to multiple conferences together. We've slept under the same roof in hotels and Airbnbs. Like we've spent days upon days grinding away and talking about our projects and what we're building. It's really one of those things that, you know, it's been so special because I know that we all see the world very similarly. And regardless of where we come from, Canada, like all over the world, of England, and I know you talked to the Trogs as well too. Like I did. Those are like Manimal and Ahmed. Like those people are some of my best friends, man. Like we've been up from the ground together, built each other up. I have friends all over the world now. My team's from Lithuania. I've never been to Lithuania before. Now I feel connected. But now I feel connected to Lithuania like I've never expected to be before, right? Because I support what their cultural benefits are. So it's really the optimal goal for me. It's like there's so many different aspects, and so find your niche. Kind of coming back to your question, find your niche, find your focus, find what you want to hone in on, and just study. Right? Sit back and listen. Absorb from different people. Never stop committing to like that education process, because I always try to learn one new thing in the space every day. Like, and I've been out here for 2 years. Nobody is an expert. And if somebody's telling you they're an expert, red flag for me, right? Like I don't need need somebody telling me they're going to solve my problems. I don't need somebody telling me, oh, they're going to give me all this exposure. I'm gonna figure it out myself and earn it, right? It'll feel that much better. And for somebody looking for a job for for a full-time gig, I'm not there yet. I'm damn close. I'm grinding for it. Yeah, I'm close. I'm grinding for it every single day. And I'm making sure that I put myself in the right position to feel good about it at the end, right? Earn it every single day. And it's going to be long nights. It's going to be weekends you got to stay in. It's going to be time away from friends, and you're going to have to give up some stuff. But at the end of the day, when you get to live in this space and kind of get to support creators and really be all about this culture that we're building, it's that much worth it, right? So you're not going to have to give up a lot, but you're going to earn a lot as well too.
No, that's an amazing answer. And yeah, each time, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I wouldn't say that you're all like family, because that's kind of like a little cheesy though. But you know, you guys are a part of my day now. That's kind of,
I mean, it's family, friends, bro. It's close.
Yeah, you guys are very close. Like I have to like check in, like, you know, with Good Morning, like Polygon and all the spaces that you're on. I see that you're on. I'm like, oh, let me hop into those spaces, whether it be with Mathematic Man, Crypto Manimal, freaking, you know, pretty much everybody that pops up with the space. You know, EJ. I don't know. It's just you guys have come a part of my life, like my morning routine, my afternoon routine. So yeah, I love the fact that this ecosystem does that. And you had kind of mentioned like Magic Eden, right? Like everything that, you know, for the creators and everything like that. So the question is basically, you know, when new people come in, like, why should they choose Magic Eden over like OpenSea or whatever marketplace? Like, why should they go to Magic Eden, you know, to get NFTs?
Yeah, man. So like from the beginning, Magic Eden has always been like for the culture, right? Like it's been ingrained. It's in the trenches with the people that actually make things happen out here. There's a reason why Johnny and I are always on spaces, and like all my bosses are involved too. Vo Lee and all the teammates that I have, like, you know, Steezy Sloth and Cruz. Like these people are like, you know, they're enthusiasts about the space. They're in spaces hanging out with us and speaking on topics. They're reaching out to people and making sure they create the best content possible. The reason why like we are having success and why we will continue to have success is because we're here for the right reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak on any other platforms in a negative light because I really believe that like competition really breeds excellence. Like it's the same reason I competed in college athletics. It's because like I wanted everyone around me to grind as hard as possible. We all have the exact same motives. We all want the space to move forward. We want mass adoption. We want people to understand why this technology makes sense. I just think we do it in a very unique way because we are with the people day in and day out, right? And so we know what's going on. We know their struggles. We know successes. We're very on brand with whatever topic is being approached in the space. We're very aware, right? And on top of that, that's the whole reason that we've done so much for the community as well. The reason why Magic Eden had so much success on Solana is because there wasn't many options. There was SolSea back in the day. There was a couple other marketplaces that were supporting Solana NFTs, but they saw a niche. They focused super hard on it, and then they ingrained themselves in the community that Sol was providing. Same reason that they've taken majority stake in BTC and Ordinals. Same reason why we put so much pressure and so much emphasis into the Polygon ecosystem is because we see that there's a future goal here, right? We see that there's more than just like these day in and day out conversations. There's a broader ecosystem that's being built out. And we really believe that we are going to play a massive role in this entire goal, right? I mean, right now you see IRL activations are becoming super popular, right? Magic Eden, we had an open edition about 3 weeks ago with the Cryptoon Goons and Dented Fields. So they did an alter ego collection, burn to claim physical assets. I got a bunch of their shirts. I'll pull one out.
Oh man, I love them, man. I actually discovered them about a month or two ago.
It's so fire. The quality. They made these Venom shirts, all these other things they've made, frisbees and all this cool stuff. And now they're releasing pins for the alter ego collection. Absolutely fire. They're doing that, and we believe that IRL activations are massive, right? You see groups, we can we can speak specifically about Courtyard, right? Courtyard's doing the Pokemon thing right now, where they're like locking in old Pokemon cards in a Brinks vault and then allowing people to digitally trade them, open up packs, have that like real world experience. We're big on the direction that the space is taking it and the real world activations that we want to be a part of. So while right now our focus is definitely in the PFP artist direction, providing resources, we believe that the future of this space, if we want mass adoption, if we really believe in onboarding, that those IRL activations are going to be a part of it. And so that's kind of like the goals as we continue to move forward, is make sure that we focus more on those directions as well, always while empowering our people to continue to create, right? That's the main thing that sets us apart at Magic Eden, is we want to empower our people, make sure they feel that we are in the trenches with them. We know their struggles and we celebrate their wins just as much. And that sets us apart. It also sets us up for a lot of getting burned sometimes, because we really ingrain ourselves in it. I care a lot about my builds. Like when I get on a team, when I get assigned to a client or a project or somebody to support, I put my heart into it, right? And so because it's not just a flash in the pan for me, it also sometimes hurts when things don't go the right way, when we don't have successes. But that's a part of it, right? I wouldn't want to do anything. My main, I wouldn't want to do anything differently. Like my main asset that I have, regardless, is that I'm a passionate individual. I put my heart and soul in everything that I do. And if sometimes that means that I'm going to get burned a little bit, it's okay, because that means the wins are going to be that much sweeter.
Yeah, and like I said, I love Magic Eden. I hear some of the stuff and everything like that. People have little complaints, but I mean, that's just like little minute stuff to me. I love that you guys are out here just Johnny's every day. I even not so much just. Not only in Good Morning, like Polygon or whatever it is that we call it now. There's a million different name changes. But I see him in minting parties, and I see you and different people's, whether it be the Banshees, TSAS, Matrix. I mean, everybody's just helping each other. Everybody's, trying to get each other the mint out. And it was very, like I said, I had to take a little bit of a step back when I first got here, because I thought this was super, super fake. These are bots. There's no way that this guy is going from different. And it was just, I don't know, man. It's something that, that I can say is that it's something different, man. And it's very refreshing. And I love the way that you guys are doing all this. And I kind of want to circle back and kind of close this with, with Polygon. What do you think is going to be their kind of the outlook on Polygon? Let's say the next bull run. Right? I'm not talking about price. I'm not talking about anything like that. But how do you think the ecosystem? You think it's going to be a very like robust, booming ecosystem, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, we can't talk about price. I lead
Yeah,
with that,
I hate when
right?
people talk about floor price, man. I'm talking about
Listen, I have floor prices are going to do stuff. The
yeah,
Matic
of
token,
course,
Pole token, that's going to do
yeah.
stuff. I
It's
got my
gonna
bag stashed away for my
yeah,
kid. You know what I mean? All that stuff
yeah.
is taken care of already. No, man. But as far as the ecosystem goes, if it's powered by the right people, I think it's boundless. I can't even estimate how vast we're going to go.
Mm-hmm,
We as you all know, we started the Creator Fund over at Magic Eden, powered
mm-hmm,
again with in partnership with Polygon to make sure that direct funding goes into the projects that are launching new collections on Polygon, relaunching other collections, like coming over from other ecosystems to launch a Polygon affiliated collection. It's $1 million creator fund. People got really excited by it, and we get to empower people. And we're, on the brink of announcing these first award winners very soon. And essentially, it's like, we can get people from other ecosystems to test the Polygon waters because they see that there's an avenue for a little bit of funding. Then they understand that there's a whole culture here and they fall in love with it.
mm-hmm.
That's like one of those things. Once people get a little bit of taste of what Polygon's all about, they're absolutely obsessed with how positive the ecosystem is. And like you say, at first, they're kind of apprehensive to it. They're like,
100%.
is this real? Like, are people actually like this supportive?
Mm-hmm,
And then once you stay around, you hear everybody talking in that same ethos. Then they feel how authentic it is, and then they can't leave, right? So obviously, like I think it expands as more platforms support creators, like we have with the Creator Fund. But on top of that, right, Polygon has set themselves up for so much success. In this bear market, they've done like 50, 60 Web2 partnerships. We're talking things like directly on Twitter. Now it's X. Mercedes or Bentley and
mm-hmm.
Starbucks and Reddit and all these groups, NFL, DraftKings, like the list goes on and on and on, right? Like the first activation, the first wins that you've seen have come out of the Starbucks ecosystem. They've come out of the Reddit platform. And I think that, again, in my opinion, right, Polygon Reddit has done these digital avatars, right?
Yep.
The digital collectibles, the Reddit avatars, they've had a good amount of success. And essentially it was custodial wallets. They had the ability to move them over. There was this whole learning process. And I give so much love to the Reddit people. People like Fatty Bags, Twan, Fun Girl, like those people are Maddie. Web3 weapons, dude. They get me so excited because not only did they like dive into our ecosystem, they had to earn it. Like they had to learn when they got their digital collectibles, and they understood like, whoa, there's a whole like digital scarcity and like Web3, like social identity behind these things. That's so passionate. That's so great. Those are people I talk to every day now, and I'm just honored to be a part of that process. But what I think, and Polygon takes a lot of essentially ownership for this. There wasn't much education behind it, right? Mm-hmm. There wasn't much like, I've heard, people like Sandeep and Sanket, Siddharth, all these people have been like, you know what, if we were to go back and do it again, we'd want to make sure there's more education behind it. In that aspect, right, we've heard the number. It's like, it was 6 million wallets, and it was 10 million wallets, now it's 20 million wallets, and how many of those wallets are active? How many wallets are duplicated by an individual more than once? There's a lot of stats that flow through it, right? Now we've absorbed a good amount of those people. The people that I've named, as well as like Peter and a bunch of other individuals like Crab Dad, they've all come over to us on Twitter, on X now, and really have dove into it head first and are building their own things. They're a part of projects. They're doing things that are really unique. But we only captured about like less than 1% of those people, right? Like if there's actually 6, 10, 20, whatever it is, wallets out there, there should be hundreds of thousands of Redditors over on CT now, kind of hanging out with us and building on Polygon. We obviously know that there aren't, right? Now, the people that did come over, they're so smart. They're so effective.
Yeah.
Now, say this were to happen again, right? Say this were to happen with another platform. Say that Starbucks did a collection. Say that the NFL released something directly. Say that any of these partnerships that that Polygon has announced did something in that unique in that unique way, right? So I think that it's going to be a matter of time where somebody does something and then we automatically jump on the train and make sure we're that much more effective, right? Facebook and Robinhood and Liverpool, like all these big groups, like if Adidas and Nike were to do something, we're going to jump all over it instantly, right? We're not going to miss the boat twice. The best part about Polygon people is we're smart as as hell.
Yeah, 100%.
Like we're tech savvy. That's the reason why we fell in love with this blockchain is the tech keeps advancing. And so if any of these things happen again, if any of these ecosystems decide to launch like a Web 2, Web 3 kind of branding move in the NFT or blockchain direction, we are going to be all over it. And so we may have like a little bit fumbled the bag as far as the Reddit collections have gone and all that. Again, not speaking on those people directly, just speaking on what the capture opportunity was. If anything else happens in that direction, we're 2 or 3 of opportunities like that from just exploding, right? And so that's kind of where I look at it from. How do we, it's impossible to predict the future, but what I know is we can educate our people really, really well. Make sure that they're armed to the teeth with what we can do out here. You've seen me like doing engagement guides on social media and all that stuff. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want people to be able to find us easily, right? Like, yes, do I want other blockchains to hear about us? Do I want ETH and Sol and all these other people to understand that there's somewhere they can come over as well? Yeah, absolutely, right? But when the, Adidas or Dot Swoosh over at Nike does something, I want their people to go over to X, search Polygon, and be exploded with information, right? And when that happens, they're going to find us on our spaces. They're going to find an ecosystem. They're going to go like, damn, like this is something I can't just avoid anymore. Like the culture's too good. The people are too friendly. Because a lot of these conversations that I'm having now, excuse me, a lot of the conversations that I'm having now with other creators that are coming over with this Pluto Misfits creative program, or they're building something unique, or they're interested in the creator fund. When I jump on a call with them, I've had 10 plus calls this month alone. When I jump on a call with them and have conversations, they're like, dude, this place is amazing, right? Like this place is so welcoming. It's so useful. The tech is so cool. And on top of that, you have the leaders of your ecosystem building alongside of you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's inevitable, right? We say Polygon's inevitable, but in our opinion, it really is when you add up all those ingredients together.
No, 100% is, and that's why I kind of like you guys actually kind of built me up, man, to start this, man. To be honest with you, I never would have started it, and it just goes to show. I know this. We're not all going to be like touchy feely right now. I'm just saying, basically,
well, we can't.
That you guys, but we are. But you guys, helped me start this, right? You guys gave me the encouragement, right? And sometimes it's so amazing, man, to think back and like where you started and everything like that. But also too, when I jump on other spaces like in different blockchains, I have to be definitely reminded this isn't Polygon. So I get walked right back. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, buddy, this isn't Polygon. But no, it speaks to everything that you guys are about, man. I love it. But I do want to ask a question, though. I do want to ask this: is Johnny a slave driver?
Nah, Johnny. Honestly, we've been friends for so long, dude. So Johnny and I have been friends for over 2 years at this point now. Like he had a project. He derugged a project called Billionaire Zombies Club. I was building Daturians. We were building right next to each other. Right. They launched about 3 months earlier than us, and they've captured like kind of like what the Polygon Punks was able to capture, what Crazy Bears was able to capture, like that early adoption pre-bear market on Polygon. And so they had a ton of success. Right. They had a ton of wins. Him and Base Buddha, like, they built each other up really effectively, but I was alongside just kind of doing my own thing and becoming friends overall. Johnny is like the least managing manager I've ever had in my entire life. And it's because we've been, we trust each other a lot, right? Like he trusts that I am going to work hard because we know that we want this place to be somewhere that everybody feels comfortable and they feel cared for, right? Like we care about the individuals, and that's more than just the individuals that we're trying to onboard in the Polygon. It's the individual creators. It's the whole culture that we're trying to build here. He knows that I'm here for the right reasons, and I know he's here for the right reasons. So honestly, it's just support, right? It's just support. All he does is encourage, regardless of how much we rib each other on spaces. That's for content, right? Like that's for laughs. That's to keep things interesting. But on private calls and things when we're like talking about how to dive into ecosystems and support the projects with marketing avenues as much as we can, I don't know if I trust anybody more than Metaverse Johnny. The dude is so supportive, and he's empowered me to do so much. In 3 months, I feel like my entire life has changed working with Magic Eden and working under his management. It's truly just a blessing to be with him every single day. And we don't even see everything eye to eye. We sometimes we say that, oh, I think this would work, oh, I think that would work, but that's okay, because we both understand that there's different paths that are going to be successful, and eventually we're going to meet in the middle somewhere and just kind of celebrate the wins across the board. So I couldn't be honestly happier with how my experience have gone there. He's been just a great person to learn from and consistently build next to.
No, that's crazy, but he didn't say that about you, so that's crazy.
That's wild. He said you suck.
No, kidding. I haven't interviewed him yet. I'm kidding.
You'll get there.
But yeah, no, and just like I said, I love the banter y'all have and everything like that. So I just want to kind of ask that question, but I'm gonna kind of circle back to Daturians.
Mm-hmm.
It took me weeks to learn that. I want to say Daturians, Daturians.
Yeah, people like just call it the people call us the Dats, the Daddies. Yeah.
You guys are having some stuff going on. So it's kind of explain what's coming up for the Daturians.
Yeah, man. So obviously we've been evolving. Our entire collection, we started, like I said, in 2021. Mint started for us in 2022 in February. 3-4 weeks later, the entire world crashed, right? The economy fell out of the sky, bear market hit. We stayed around because we had something unique. We kept pushing, right? We had 2 different waves as mints, essentially sets of 2,000 that we minted on the same collection, right? So our entire collection currently sits at 4,010. Now we've always been user focused. We've always been making sure the Flora fam has a really great experience with how things are done over here. And that next step is kind of coming to fruition right now. Everything, like I said, is voted on by our community members. And one thing that we voted on in the experience that was created by our team is something that we call the seed barrel, right? So the seed barrel is a unique kind of aspect to Daturians, where we actually allowed our community members, when they hold Daturians, they can submit pictures of fungi and flora into a seed barrel, and then they would kind of sprout, right? So we did a one-of-one collection that was really unique, 20 different one-of-ones, all submitted with plants from the community. And then we minted those, obviously, gave them back to the community members that directly submitted them. And then those were kind of one of those collections that people look towards like, oh man, these are so cool. They're themed very well. They're unique, all that stuff. Now, we just relaunched Seed Barrel number 2. So Seed Barrel V2 is what we're doing right now. And we're not going to go to the one-on-one collection. We're actually going to include these in V2 or Gen 2 Daturians. So the entire collection, the entire goal was to originally have 8,020. We cut things in half because it was taking longer and we're in the middle of a bear market, right? But with all the new hype that's come, with all the new attention to Polygon, with all the new collectors and everybody that's involved, our goal is to reach that 8,010 total number. So we're going to be launching another 4,000 or 8,020, excuse me. So we're going to be launching another 4,010 in the very near future in Q4 here. And it'll include plants that are submitted by our users via Seed Barrel number 2. A few other things that come with that, obviously. If you're holding the Generation 1 Daturians, you essentially get to submit as many plants into the Seed Barrel as Daturians you hold. And then they're all kind of selected by our team and randomly and kind of shaken out into different kind of assets in the collection, as well as you get airdropped a certain ratio based on your holdings, right? So say you hold 1 to 5, you'll get 1. So you hold 5 to 10, you'll get 2, and so on and so forth as things kind of continue to grow. All those numbers are being solidified right now. And then the last thing that comes with V2, and again, something that our community members directly voted on, is we allowed them to select a free airdrop, right? Like something that was not just Daturian, something that was unique to us. We gave them a bunch of different options, right? We talked about pets and offspring. We talked about, different kind of different side collections that we can do. And everyone kind of came down to it and they're like, you know what Daturians need? They need a house to live in. They need greenhouses. So what we're doing is our greenhouse collection, right? And so our greenhouse collection is really unique. It's essentially going to be the place where your Daturian lives, breathes, and kind of experiences the entire universe. The goal with that, I'm loading up a picture right now so I can give a little sneak peek as well on my phone. But the goal with the collection in that direction, boop, very, very cool. just kind of like unique houses that we're building on the blockchain. So the goal with that collection is to integrate it into our RPG universe, and you'll have a house for a passive kind of drip of your token if it's staked on there with a Daturian directly, and then your Daturian can have an active portion of this where he leaves his house, he goes on and goes on adventures and kind of experiences the entire universe that we're building, because there's a desert area, there's an Arctic area, there's a city area, there's capital cities, there's all these different kinds of portions of the planet itself. And so that airdrop will come after V2 is minted out, right? So we'll do V2 Gen 2 of the mint process with airdrops free. And then after all those things are minted out, you'll get one-to-one airdrops of the greenhouse collection based on whatever Daturians you hold. So the traits on Daturians, families, factions, locations will match the style of your greenhouse. So it'll all integrate very well in that direction.
That's really interesting. So you're saying a greenhouse house and everything like that. So is it going to be kind of like a metaverse type thing in the future, or that's something you're still trying to like ironed out?
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of, we're going to build something unique on our end, right? So first and foremost, we want the experience to kind of integrate well and dive in. We are ironing out what kind of platform this will look like, whether it's like kind of a point and click adventure built on our end. What we really are bullish on, again, is the Web 2 activations. So there will be a Web 2 aspect of this, like building in mobile, building something that's accessible for people, that's separate from the NFT direction, right? Because obviously Apple, Google, all these Play stores, they don't integrate, assets very well yet. They're kind of against it. The whole funding and 30% you got to take care of that on that front. So we're not building in that direction yet. What we want to solidify is a really great experience in that RPG kind of point and click AI direction. And that'll kind of establish where we go in the future. Most likely, it's not going to be as metaverse focused. It's going to be something directly on our platform that we build in a little bit of a unique sense. But we could see it expanding into it if a platform makes sense for us. If something like the Sandbox or something like Decentraland makes sense, there's no reason why we wouldn't go in that direction at some point.
Oh no, that's very interesting, and they're very cute. Very like, it kind of reminds me of Animal Crossing if you kind of know what that is. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of. And no, it's very interesting, and I love the fact that you guys are having like a house for them and all those things. Though, but Big Nil, with everything we have, right, with all this, like Polygon and everything like that, and kind of like you have your project, and where do you find time to relax, man? You have so much going on. Like, where do you find time to relax?
Man, to be transparent, like this is my relaxation. It really is. Like people ask me like how I do so much, how I'm in so many spaces. Like I'm an individual. Like, I mean, you can see it by the way that I interact on spaces. Like that's how I get my energy. Right? Yeah. Like connections and conversations are how I essentially recharge. So like I'll finish up this conversation. It's 8:00. I'm gonna have to do something different, play some video games, turn myself out a little bit because I'm going to be juiced up from just having this discussion. Yeah. It gets me going. Appreciate that. But, on the time, I really try to use my weekends like very efficiently. I shut down on the weekends. Like people I really push hard on the weekdays, night times, all those things. I'm there. But I'm an early riser. I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm getting my work done. I'm taking care of business. I work from 5:30 a.m. to 8:00 at night. It's 8:07 right now, right? I'll wrap up this and I'll wrap up the day. And then my weekends, I totally turn off. Like I GM and GN on the weekends. That is it socially. I put my phone away when I'm with my wife. I really just make sure that everything gets reset. I make time to go for runs. I'm a big like cardio guy. I need to get back in the gym, but I like to make sure I have time to wipe it all out. As well as lacrosse. Like I'm still I'm big in the ecosystem here. So I used to coach. I just gave that up with the kid on the way. It was like 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. It was way too much. Just having to go to a field and then come back. So I'm giving up the coaching aspect, but I still play in a league. I still make sure that I, play wall ball a ton. I posted a wall ball video like yesterday, right? Like it just allows me to wash it all out, right? Something that's like a meditative process for me. So all those mental kind of aspects of it, resetting, taking time, walk with the wife and the dog and all that stuff, it really pays dividends for when I hit it really hard during the week. But it's all about compartmentalizing, man. I didn't learn how to do that for about a year, and I was burnt. I was hitting it hard with the mint process, Daturians, all the things I was doing, and it felt like I was a shell of who I could potentially be. And now every single time I take those weekends off, I come back on Monday and I'm like, let's hit the road hard. Like, let's hit it even harder than last week. So that's kind of how I do things, just in the compartmentalizing way.
No, I just say you're so busy and everything like that. I had to ask you, like, man, but when does this guy relax though? But I know you. I don't want to keep you too long, right? But I do want to say, like, this though, like, where, as far as Daturians and with you being with kind of like Magic Eden, like, where do you see yourself kind of like a year now? Where would you like to be a year from now?
Man, I mean, I hope we're all just like celebrating more wins. That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. Like last year was kind of the kickoff of Polygon. Like I was able to go to NFT NYC and celebrate some of those things with our community members that we already had. I've listed their names already, but really spend time as a unit, right? Meet people like Johnny in person. Meet people like Captain Merc and all those people from our ecosystem currently. We got to connect on a lot of different high levels. But now it's about like how many more wins can we stack up, right? How many more onboarding avenues can we ensure that we build? For me personally, like I hope to speak at NFT NYC this year. I've established myself as one of like the, in the KOL position for Polygon directly, as well as my position with Magic Eden. It sets me up for a good opportunity to do so and speak about how this ecosystem should run. And so that's my entire goal from a personal perspective. From the professional end, right? Like where do I see myself in the space? Obviously, my goal is to make this full-time Web3 like where I operate, because it's where I'm happiest, man. It really comes down to it. I value my happiness over monetary, over everything. Like everything else comes down to how happy am I in the day-to-day process, because it reflects everything in my life. Makes my marriage easier. It makes my relationships that much more fulfilling. It makes me want to take better care of myself. And so just because of the way I see the world advancing, just because of how I see the blockchain technology area going, all these articles are coming out, right? Like NFTs are dead, like your blockchain buddy's in trouble, like all this stuff. I look at it and I just laugh because, maybe, Vitalik pokes fun at us too. He says, we've built, he's built this grand empire of what we can do with smart contracts and we're putting JPEGs on it, right? Like that's fine. That's fine, right? We're using the technology in one way right now. Imagine what happens when, Pokemon cards continue to elevate. Nike shoes all get digitized and make sure that verifications happen. Rolex watches and houses get sold on the blockchain. Like this space is boundless, right?
Yes.
And I just want to play my little role and make sure that people get educated and that they feel comfortable here. So for me, it's always going to be about providing that value. It's always going to be making sure that I get taken care of from a personal direction, that my, my self-health and everything gets, pushed in the right direction. And then I want everyone to have wins along with me. Like I said earlier, I just want everyone to know that there's opportunity for everybody out here, as long as you have the right standards in place, right? As long as you're doing it for the right reasons, there's no reason why you shouldn't be having all these kind of awesome celebrations with us here. So hoping that we can achieve those over the next year.
Yeah, no, and that's amazing. And where would you like to see the Daturians at?
So yeah, man. I want my OGs to get respect. Right. Like I want people like Coin Laundry, who's one of the most talented one of one artists, Cynthia Steenkamp, like all those people to like get a bunch of respect in the blockchain, because like obviously the new dogs run the territory a little bit, which is fine. Right, like it's great. The Manifest Labs and the Drill Clubs and the Wrecked Dogs and all those people, they've done so much for our space. Like, thank God we have them. But I tell you, there's going to be an avenue for myself, Daturians, Matic Man and the Crypto Crew, and now the Legion of Gloom, Troglodyte Society, Ahmed and Manimal, and all that they're building. We've been out here for 2 years at this point, right? There's a reason why we've been here for so long, and we provide a ton of value. Eventually people are going to realize, and I say this all the time, I say it about myself, right? But I'll say it about the greater ecosystem. The greatest utility of any project is the founder, right? Like the greatest utility of Daturians is myself, because I'm always active. I'm always around. I know what's going on in the ecosystem at all times. My Discord is not one complaint. In over 2 years, I haven't had anybody in my Discord saying, why aren't we doing more? Why isn't this happening? I don't have people floor my NFTs. I call us the Polygon NFT stablecoin. We sit around 25 Matic all day long. People
Yeah.
buy them all they want. They hang out with us. You know, we minted at 12 Matic total. So set casually, some people take some profits. Nobody complains. It's beautiful, right? But I tell you, once some of our OGs make some big moves, Trog's going to release Trog Evolution. Matic
Yep.
Man is going to release the Legion of Gloom. Daturians are going to go Gen 2. Just watch. Just watch what happens for the people who've been out here for 2 years. And I really hope the community, I mean, I know the community is going to come out and support. I don't even need to hope. I know that they're going to see the value of it because we've been doing stuff in a really unique way. As long as we approach the go-to-market strategy in our direction that we have been, it's going to be a really special time for all of our OGs out here to make sure that we find some avenues. So that's kind of where I see the Daturians going, is sitting in a very comfortable spot where they, you know, we've worked just as hard for a long time, for a long, long time, for transparently for longer, right, as some of these younger projects. I want us to get what I think we've earned, right? It's not about deserved. It's, I think that we've earned the right to be one of those top 10, top 15 projects on the ecosystem and make sure that people know that we do things in a very unique way.
Yeah, and you know, Big Nil, that's great. You know, and I love the fact that you know you're one of the OGs to come up, man. I really love that. That speaks a lot about you. But you know, thank you for coming on. But before you go, right, is there any community members you want to shout out, or anybody you want to shout out, or anything else you want to say before you take off?
Yeah, I've shout out a lot of the OGs already. Like all those names that I've given are people that I'm like best friends with now, right? Like I got a text message from Coin Laundry I got to answer right after this. Some of my people like Sir Goat and all the homies that have been out here long term with me. Obviously, like all my heavy collectors and the Flora fam, like they know who they are and they know what they mean to me already. So I don't need to shout them off. But the people that I do want to shout out is like people like you, Jarek. Like, people,
man, thank you.
Yeah, like people that have just committed as like the new people. As far as like you're getting integrated so quickly, you're absorbing our culture, you're providing us a ton of value. I mean, you can speak on all the things that everybody has done across the blockchain. Max and the Rival Bears, EJ and the Space Skellies. They've done such unique things, and their builds are so detailed. It really makes me like so honored to be a part of it all. And you'd be remiss to not mention what Family and Brandoff are doing with the Chads. Like, yeah, the builder group that they've established, what they're really meaning for our ecosystem. They've brought on a ton of people, right? And they come natively from another ecosystem, and they've embraced Polygon and made sure that people find home here. They're some of the people that we're going to rely on for the next wave of what we do out here. And when it comes down to it, the entire ecosystem operates so differently. Every personality is unique. Everybody plays a really well role. I could be here for hours shouting out our people, but those are the main things that really matter, is making sure that everybody is in their right place and that they're having a great time while they're doing it. And I really think that we hit that nail on the head each and every time. So again, Jarek, just appreciate the time today. Love spending time having these conversations, man. Can't wait to see your platform continue to evolve and grow and celebrate all those wins around the way, my friend.
Yeah, man, Big Nil, this is great to have a legend like you on the show. I appreciate you. You know, thank you so much. And I know you've been on here for like an hour and such, so I'll let you go and you spend time with your wife. Man, but I really do appreciate you, Big Nil. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. You're a man. Congrats on the whale roll, bro. I'm sure you're holding those bad boys tight.
Yeah, I'll hold on. Definitely, man. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the show. And if you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, download, follow me on X, follow Big Nil on X. I'll have everything pinned down at the bottom. And I will see you guys around on the blockchain. Take care.